There aren't many opportunities for employees to speak up and be heard. A Q&A session has the potential to be the most important part of your company meetings. It's a way to give your employees a voice, a chance for them to ask questions to leadership or raise any concerns. A great Q&A session might become the heart of your meeting. It's time to pull it off. Hi, it's Cayman with AhaSlides, helping you win crowds over easier. In this video, I'm going to cover how do you prepare your audience, how do you prepare your material, and what are the tools you can use for managing questions in a Q&A session. Stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to share a bonus tip that's going to set your Q&A session apart from almost every other one you've seen. A rushed Q&A session may fail to hit the mark and even backfire. Your employees may feel their leaders don't care about their questions and concerns. Make sure to dedicate enough time to the Q&A session. Only then will you create a meaningful discussion with your staff. Even in big firms like Google, Q&A makes up one half of their weekly meetings. They run a 30-minute meeting followed by a 30-minute Q&A with Google's founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. This helps employees as it allows them to submit their questions before the meeting, and also you, as you'll have the opportunity to check the questions beforehand to prepare your answers. By collecting questions in advance, even those who can't join the meeting in person will be able to ask their questions. They will see their questions answered when they watch back the recording or read the minutes from the meeting. This is a really sweet tip that we shared in the video. 5 top tips to webinar like a pro. If you're about to create a webinar, you might want to check that out. So basically, you need a strategy for all the scenarios that might happen. Worst case scenario, no one speaks up. Have at least 2 prepared questions of your own ready to go in case you meet a shy crowd or your staff hasn't had time to prepare themselves to speak up. If nobody asks any questions, then you need to be the one who opens up first and adds a very interesting question. Now, make sure that your question could bring up your audience's internal curiosity. So try to frame your question as something that's going to be valuable to your audience so they'll pay attention. A great way to introduce the question is to say something like, "I'm usually asked," or "One thing that you might still be wondering about is," or "The biggest question I've been asked over the last 3 months." Once you've done this, you'll see your audience members start to really appreciate the value of the answers you're giving and have follow-up questions of their own. Second scenario. At large company meetings, and especially when run online, it's crucial to gather all the questions through a platform, not only to avoid friction, like people unmuting themselves or jumping into the discussion, but also inclusive for those who aren't comfortable with speaking up. You don't want somebody to interrupt you every 2 minutes. But at the same time, you don't want to say something like, "Could you please hold your questions till the end, and then we'll take them all at one time." That is the opposite of what you're trying to do. You'll want to encourage your staff to ask more questions. The solution here is to use AhaSlides live Q&A feature. This allows your attendees to engage and ask questions on all slides, which means whenever a question pops into their head, they can submit it right away, and you can see them and choose any time to open and answer their question. That leads me to the next tip. Keep reminding people to ask questions. Even if you've collected some questions in advance, a good practice is to give your employees a gentle reminder at the beginning of the meeting so they don't forget to ask questions. Or, after a block of business updates, let your staff take a moment to think of what they've just heard and submit any questions they might have. Bring a moderator. To make your Q&A even more effective, have a dedicated person to moderate and facilitate the discussion. The moderator helps keep the discussion organized and relevant by reviewing the incoming questions, grouping similar questions together, and highlighting the current questions. This will take your Q&A session from 1 to 100 and be much more engaging for your audience to watch and listen to. Use upvotes to keep the discussion relevant. Question upvotes is a fantastic feature that allows employees to influence which questions will get answered with priority. It allows certain employees to express their support for questions or topics by simply giving a thumbs up, even if they don't want to ask the question themselves. It's a great way to keep the discussion relevant and to the point. You can say something like, "We have a limited time for the Q&A session, so please go ahead and vote for your favorite ones, so we'll get to those first." So that's it from me today. Let's just quickly recap. 1. Include a Q&A directly in your agenda and dedicate enough time to it. 2. Start collecting questions from employees in advance. 3. Manage questions strategically for either the worst case scenario or any other scenario that might occur. Keep reminding people to ask questions. Bring a moderator. Use upvotes to keep the discussion relevant and tackle any unanswered questions after the meeting. I really hope that these tips will help you facilitate your next Q&A session. Don't forget to subscribe and leave comments if you have any questions. But for now, it's Cayman with AhaSlides, helping you win over crowds easier.